right. Episode 84. We've been sitting here contemplating our lives, the future of this show. We've been procrastinating, beginning it, because we just have too much to say, as per usual.
Only we've recorded it.
And plus, Natalie just has a bunch of stuff in her mouth. And I decided to start recording anyway. But it is Inane Blather, episode 84. We're here in person together, which is nice. And we're going to try to stick to our New Year's resolutions, be less stupid, be less lengthy, be less...
Period.
Do more, be less. Walmart. But, either way, we are going to get started without having to remind you for the 84th time that we and all of you are...
headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to use the soundboard too much because we've been running into problems. Whoever wants to buy me a new computer and USB
because the new tablet just wasn't good enough.
No, that's not why. Fine, we'll start doing the entire show on the tablet. That'll just be
awesome to the max.
As I hold the tablet up to the microphone. But, so, happy birthday to our dad. That's why Natalie's in town. And she came over at a good time. We actually it was like 50 degrees today.
What a beautiful drive.
Yeah?
I was supposed to be over yesterday, but I sliced my finger off. So
Nah, we're not going to talk about that. Anyway.
Feel bad for me, everybody. I'm missing the tip of my left pointer finger and part of my nail because I sliced it with a freshly sharpened knife, and it really hurt, and it really bled. And I think be careful with knives is the theme of this episode. Oops. I know that...
Oh, I was turning it up. I was going to say, so you don't have to keep leaning into it if you don't want to, but anyway.
Yeah. I just want to give everyone a reminder because it's really annoying to have to be able
You know what's annoying? Cutting your finger off.
Man.
It really irks me.
I haven't even washed my hair because I can't get this wet. It's all in bandages and stuff. And so, it makes it really hard to do everything. Like,
yeah.
It's like really annoying.
Yeah.
So, like, just... be careful out there, folks.
It's like when I
and it fucking hurt.
When I broke my hand. And then it's just like everything that was annoying to do. And it's like, it's so annoying having this cast on. Even that, it was like an air cast, but everything is
doing the dishes
impossible to
one-handed
do.
Yesterday, I was like,
I could hardly drive, stick, and yeah, just little things like that. And then every time looking at it, be like, and that was my fault too.
Me too. Yeah, this is like,
how can I just keep complaining? But why not?
It was me. Yeah,
it's reality. It is annoying. I'm gonna complain as much as I want.
Yeah,
this is a free country.
It's limited time. It's only gonna take a few weeks to heal. So I'm gonna get my complaining in when I can.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get the sympathy for this big knob of.
It's gnarly. I'm gonna post that video on Twitter. I'll just hide it for potentially
blood stuff.
Sure, it's Twitter.
Nice. Yeah, it's like
you can post
blood.
Full pornography.
Oh yeah, it's Twitter. It's not Instagram.
Yeah, this isn't Meta. Did you see anything about? Zuckerberg was on Capitol Hill testifying.
Buckerzerg.
Did you see any of that?
I saw that he was there, but I didn't. I don't know what he was.
Yeah,
like
some
recently?
of it, Josh Hawley. Yeah, Zuckerberg,
because
and they were also had
January
the TikTok
6th or
guy.
What?
No,
you mentioned Josh Hawley, so I was like, "What is this?"
No, Josh Hawley was just like laying into him, and it sucked. Like Hassan was going over it, is where I was seeing it. I didn't really like exactly how Hawley was going about it, so it wasn't a totally like, the person you hate is accidentally based kind of thing. It was more just like, oh, thank God someone is just seeing this billionaire. Make fun of
his haircut? Yeah.
No, and like yelling at, because he was bringing up like, I don't know the backstories, but just of like things that have gone wrong for teens, like and children from the use of Facebook and stuff like that, or bullying and suicide, things like that. And him just like calling him out, it sucks because he was over the top with it. I didn't think it was very useful, but it was also kind of cathartic, like just cutting off Zuckerberg when he's like, well, we're trying to make sure that we implement programs. He's like, are you going to apologize to these people? How about you take some of your money? You've got billions of dollars. Why don't you just pay for all of their pain and suffering? Why don't you compensate these people? Are you going to compensate? He's like, well, we're actually developing. He's like, will you, just you personally compensate them? And cutting him off. And it's like, Hassan was loving it. He's like, this sucks how much he's like wrecking him right now because someone needs to do it, but it sucks that it's the guy that you hate. But I didn't like how he came across. I kind of disagreed with Hassan myself.
Well, you know what? Because Josh Hawley doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit about these. He does not care about kids getting hurt from Facebook by billionaires. He does not give a shit, which makes it even more unsavory, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just maybe, where it's like you're grandstanding.
It's automatically disingenuous, it feels like.
It's like if you're grandstanding about something that you do care about, and it's like your opportunity to really pounce and like drive, like something home. I mean, I'm there for it, even if it's over the top or whatever, or you're using it, whatever.
But it would feel a little less overpresented,
and then it's like, you're just using this as an opportunity to like get some 15 minutes of whatever kind of situation.
Josh Hawley.
And it's like, so what are you, and because what is your values here? You're asking a billionaire to pay for one thing. You're not that kind of guy. You're not Bernie Sanders out here saying the billionaires should pay for things. Like
he's like, this is great. If only they did this to every single CEO that ever came to the floor.
He's only doing it because it's Facebook, because it's some leftist or whatever he wants to, quote unquote, like that
they're
kind
against
of
the social media companies.
Yes.
There was I'm not sure what the. I just didn't keep up to date on any of it, but that's why that CEO of TikTok was there too, and that other moron GOP guy being like, he's like, have you ever been? He's trying to get his 15 minutes, and he's grilling the TikTok guy, and like he thought he was gonna have a whole thing about like Chinese spying on Americans and all this data harvesting and stuff. And he's like, have you ever been a member of the CCP? And he's like, huh? No. Like, because, I mean, he's Asian. He's East Asian. He's from Singapore. And like, even and he's like, well, have you ever been affiliated with or taken orders from the CCP? He's like, no, I'm from Singapore. What do you say? Like, what? I am not Chinese. Like, and everyone's like, Jesus,
this is like that joke we were making earlier.
Yes, that's like that joke that we were making off mic that cannot make it onto the podcast.
Oh man, that's really embarrassing. And also, it just shows like these hearings and stuff. You're like trying to get your 15 minutes. Like, what are they getting out of these?
What's your goal?
What is their goal of like having these people there? It's like, are you guys gonna like? What are you going to do with this information? Write some legislation? Good one, guys.
Well, actually, and that's the funny thing. It's like the Josh Hawley thing seems like good on paper to say to a billionaire CEO, but disingenuous because it's like, what is your goal? It goes the opposite way with a TikTok guy where it's like, no, he's just an idiot. They have a goal. They want TikTok like banned for people under 18, or and they get it banned from government devices and stuff because they think, because they know. I mean, it's owned by China, like literally the Chinese government, and it collects data on people. But like the people from TikTok have reiterated, they collect just as much, if not like less, probably than American companies like Meta,
like Facebook,
yes, or Facebook, Instagram.
It's already
Google.
Facebook has we know that they sold our data. They've been in trouble already, selling it to advertisers without
so
disclosing to us
on.
Really what was going on. That was a huge. It was a huge deal.
I can't remember. I was like, do you remember the name of that company? What was that?
There was that did the marketing or whatever?
Yeah, that bought the data and did it for political marketing, and it was a huge thing for a week. And I think they got fined. And It's like, so what good did that fine do? Where did it go? Where did that money go? And why is Mark Zuckerberg back on Capitol Hill now? Because they find him like $170 million or some crazy, I don't know. It just seems like this huge number, and it's like, what did that do? Was it something Technica? Something? What was the name of that? See, it's just 40,000 news cycles ago.
I mean, because nothing came of it. Like, no one, I mean, like, even if there was fines or whatever, it is still,
like anyone goes to prison.
But what is it? Oh, you're saying, because Facebook made it so you could change your settings if you wanted to?
Yeah. We updated our privacy policies.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I remember when I sat down and read that.
Hey, by the way, Facebook still sucks balls, so.
Yeah.
But, there we go. I'll just have that going in the background.
That's Facebook for you.
Yes, it is. I hate Facebook so much. No one should be on it. And I'm someone who's on Twitter. So
Kelsey is on Facebook. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I realized I'm not friends with Humby." And Hum was like, okay. Oh, Facebook? Yeah, like I guess I just don't get on there at all.
I have so many pending friend requests.
Kelsey is pretty much only on Facebook. She gets on Instagram, we send each other stuff, but we don't post.
I still have a bunch of unread Instagram messages that I need to go through.
That's what I send them to you randomly, and I just know you'll get to them when you get to them.
And I'll sit there and I'll go through you and Zach too. I'll be like, all right. Oh, that's right. I have some from Zach.
I have so many from Zach go waiting. Memes. I know.
Yeah. So shout out Zach.
Oh yeah.
I can collect some stuff. I was feeling. I wrote this down today. I can talk about that later. Something. My prostate is enlarged. Our merchant and master manufacturers. I have a ringing in my ear and it won't go away. All this boring stuff.
We hate all the Muslims.
Okay. All right. That'll get it back up there.
Yeah. That's not boring.
So, someone in this town. So you're here in rural America. You're a rural juror.
The rural juror.
So if you probably saw it. You went out to Dad's property today. Our Father, who art on earth.
Yes, thank goodness. On the day of his birth.
Yeah. He's going to be moving close to me. It's super fun. And they're going to build a house and blah, blah, blah. So, but down the road, if you're coming back into town from there, someone in town has a big sign that says, Don't blame me. I voted for Trump.
I saw it today.
Yes.
And
big one up in this tree.
It's right there on that road that road doesn't even have shoulder stripes. It has no shoulder. It is 2 lanes.
It's like what we grew up on.
It's
Road.
Really, really tight there. It's
quite
a
and it's got some curves to it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I used to live down that road.
Yeah, I looked at that house. We passed it today, and it's kind of like a cute place too. And I just love when I see stuff like that. I really love to imagine when they put it up, like what they went through to go to get the thing, to decide where to put it, and then to go through the whole process of nailing it up there, stabilizing, stepping back, and being like,
putting the process. You're putting a level
on something that said, "Don't blame me, I voted for Trump."
Back, with your tongue sticking outside of your mouth, and all right, is this
Mom, what does this look like?
Can you read it from here? Because I can't read it from anywhere. But
that was, and I don't say this lightly, worse than 100 September.
I don't know,
and that's
I'm
why
not gonna
we
really
hate
go
all
through this.
The Muslims.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
For whatever reason, I'll just start a GoFundMe for a new USB audio interface. You guys can buy it for me. I'm not going to buy one. Anyway, so we won't have the soundboard plugged in. But anyway, and when I saw that, don't blame me, I voted for Trump, and it's like, blame you for what, bro?
That's what I would...
Literally name one thing that Biden has done or not done that affected life in our rural town. And it's like, and complain about Biden all day long and his lack of action or his, foreign policy or the fact that he can't string two sentences together. Like, so many things. But it's like that, even, I mean, I don't know, you just forget, like, liberals seem to think that, since we dislike Joe Biden or Democrat policies and stuff like that, that you have any sort of, you're helping Trump, you guys just want Trump to win or something. It's like, no, we're surrounded by Trump stuff. We know what Trump is like. We know that he's 10,000 times worse. And then you finally get stuff like that and you think about the guy putting up the sign and wonder, what is, morons, common clay of the West. Or it's just like, it's just too easy. Like, it's boring how horrible the GOP is, how empty any of their politics are nowadays, especially if you leave the culture war stuff out. It's like, what are you guys here for? Why do you like this guy? If we're just talking about Trump himself, it's like, what was he going to do for you? What do you think he was going to do for you? Because he's not going to do that. And what did you see in this weird fucking New York real estate developer? I don't get it. I saw a video just yesterday that someone tweeted where they're like, now here's a real man who knows the real Americans and stuff. And he was out on in a field with farmers doing some up suit? With farmers. Yes. Nice. And he's out in a dirt field, and they had him sign. He fucking signed their tractor, and signed it with big flourish. Man, for one thing, first thing I noticed when he's doing it, especially when he's doing a big signature, because it's on the fender of a tractor, that signature takes 20 minutes to do. It's like, how many things have you signed, dude? Because it takes forever. He's like, up and down and up and up and up some more and more peaks. It's like, your name is really simple, dude. Yeah. It looks like a compressed EKG, heart thing.
And I feel really like he's weird. Pretty consistent, though, with it.
Yeah. He's got a
very recognizable,
unique and recognizable signature, and it's like, that's
he just
what
has
it
to think
takes
about it
for
every
you to
time.
write that.
He's really fucking stupid. You have to remember.
It's like he's considering each and every one to make it the same. It's like, dude, that is not it's not an efficient signature for a guy who is a business developer going into signing executive checks. Orders. Yeah. And you want your signature on the treasury checks for the stimulus money? Yeah. And it's like, that signature? It's like...
That's what it looks like.
It looks like if I screamed into this microphone right now and we were reading the audio output. But yeah, it's like, what, blame you for what? That's the first... question. It's like, I mean, we can complain about Biden's stuff, but at the same time, unless you're talking about sweeping economic change, what are you talking about this guy? You have 3 acres and a 4-bedroom house.
It looks pretty cute,
off a private drive, and probably a shop and a vintage car in there that you have, and
they probably lived there a long time. It's a really curated yard and everything. Yeah. It's very well maintained.
Really nice place. Really cute. I mean, I love the location out there. Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. And absolutely. You're in this small town that I love. I love being there. I like that spot. It's quiet. You can enjoy it. You can have your family over. This and that. What has changed for you? If you're upper middle class at all, or if you have any stable wealth, a property like that you've had for a long time, like you're saying, or was passed down to you, or you got in a good time, flipped a house, and you got this house for the rest of your days, stuff like that. You have this stable, life. What does the president do that affects you? Seriously. Even if he's still working or he owns a small business or whatever it is, it's like, what is going on for you?
What has affected you enough to put this sign up is the thing. It's to have some sort of opinion about politics or whatever. is one thing, but to feel so incredibly strongly about what Trump has done or whatever, to go out of your way to put up the sign at a
it's
very
like 18 feet in the air or something, isn't it? It's
sees it. It's like on a little, like, you're gonna see it when you go by, and it just is interesting. And in a small community, eventually, you know, people might even know, like, like who you are and like who lives there and stuff. You're gonna definitely make sure that it's known how you feel, and it's not just a Trump 2020 or whatever. It's like a snarky, bitchy sort of thing to say. Don't blame me. Any of these problems.
I voted for Kodos.
Yeah, all of these things would not be happening that I don't like, which are maybe some things and maybe some things I do, or what, I mean, whatever. Like,
tell me about a time.
You just moved my mic and it just connected
No,
me.
sorry, I'm sorry. No, I'm just pointing at where, so because you're looking at me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I might as well point it to where you're speaking stuff is coming out of your mouth hole.
Yeah.
But, tell me about a time that you and Trump, or separately or together, or someone who likes Trump, or someone who likes Biden.
So tell me about a time.
So tell me about a time that you and this person, together or separately, did something and they like Trump, or they don't vote at all.
Or they didn't do something.
Yeah, and you know them, or maybe you don't even know this person.
Or maybe this didn't even happen.
But it's funny, like, thinking, we're talking about, okay, number one, it's like, what got them to that position? It's because so little changes for them that politically, socially, it's boredom. It's like they've latched on to so many MAGA people, it seems like. There's so many that you hear, like, I wasn't even really political until 2016. It's like, yeah, it shows. That's why, well, I mean, and in a way, like, it seriously does with the way that you've gone all in. Like, it's just
You're
weird.
You're like born again.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's why people, I mean, people who know about cults, like the people who are really into MAGA, it's like, yes, it really does follow these certain, like, guiding stereotypical things in a cult, like how far you go all in, and they're, you know, even outside of like following the cult leader type of things, and everything he does is right, or, you know, you listen to anything he says, you'll defend him to the death. But just the making sure everyone knows your attitude about it, making sure everyone knows that you're in it. Like, it's like the cult of CrossFit. It's CrossFit for people who need CrossFit for their brains. You know? It's just so it like fills this void. Like, it's almost like all these people, or that from, you know, working up to this middle class lifestyle, and then suddenly realizing you didn't use your human potential. You didn't end up learning that instrument. You don't have like this fulfilling relationship with your kids, or you don't have something that you've been doing that you can say you changed the world with. So you want to be part of a movement, and then suddenly it's like, oh, you can really feel like it's something, like the world's against you, even though you're a middle-class white man who
really
has not been persecuted in any way whatsoever, and now you're joining into some sort of so-called fight, you know, and this is your guy. It's like, because at the end of the day, you truly don't even, like, think these things. Like you don't think that, like, that it really is that important. Like, if Trump hadn't happened and you had picked up playing pool instead or something, jogging, and you got a glove and a pool cue, and then you started refelting your own pool tables, and you have one out in the shop, we wouldn't be in this position.
Yeah, if you had a hobby.
Exactly.
Maybe some friends. You know what? I was just thinking about, why is it that, like, you know, oh, are you triggered? Oh, you know, I lubricate with liberals' tears and all this. It's like,
ew.
Lubricate with that's Hassan's lubricate my AK with liberal tears or whatever.
God, I haven't heard that one. That's
it's like
funny.
a shirt that he has or whatever. But you know, like that thing about like triggering people, and why it's like, so what is it about like what makes you want, like, why is that a good way to live your life, regardless of someone else's, like, kind of beliefs? Why is your, like, intention to annoy someone?
Yeah.
Why is that, like, a way you want to live? And, like, why is that, like, being a troll and stuff like that? It's like, and then looking down on liberals or whatever you want to say, like, left, however they say, like, oh, you're out here, like, playing instruments and, like, oh, you've been off with your life.
Yeah,
and
you're
it's
special little snowflakes.
Yeah, all your feelings and all these kinds of things.
We're humans and we're special and we recognize that.
That's exactly what, like, they're just, like, in such a weird denial or something like that. They're, like, wasting their lives and something is there, so it makes them act out in these ways, like bullying us leftists or whatever, like putting us down for wanting to be in touch with our feelings or break trauma cycles of generational kind of stuff, or like,
How do you get to the point where you're bullying
life.
Teachers?
Yeah. You're
like, something happened here.
Yeah, and that's, it feels like I feel bad for them that they're just so, like, sneering at these liberals because we have what they want is, like, real, like, full experiences.
Yeah, for attention, because they're just coming to a realization that that their life is meaningless. Like, just like so many of ours are, like that we're all just, we've all just been caught in this machine of the economy and this ever perpetuating society and expansion, and you really don't mean all that much, especially if you just view yourself through the lens of how we see, like, celebrity and the idolatry of just certain people making changes in society. Like, we don't, like, in America, you don't idolize groups that made changes, and so it's like there's this thing like, now I'm doing something and people will recognize me. That's why I wear a bright red hat and I trigger people.
Because I'm an individual. I wear a bright red hat like all these other people.
Exactly. Well, I was going to say earlier when you're like, and they're acting out and trying to trigger people with this corny ass, like, Trump stuff, and it's like, well, let's explain more memes in audio. I was like, man, it's just like that. There's the great meme with the dumb person, like, okay, how would I say this on audio?
Meme format.
But there's the person on the left hand side, and their quote is just like, says something idiotic.
Yeah.
And then everyone laughs. And then the third one is they're saying, wow, you guys are so triggered. And like, or the guy at a party and he's just pissed his pants and everyone's laughing and pointing at him.
Yeah.
And in his head, he's just smiling. He's like, ha, rent free. But all of you internet heads out there have probably seen these.
Interheads.
Yeah.
I feel like thinking of, mental illness. It's not mental illness is when you're right wing. Like, being a child is sort of.
Okay.
It's making me feel bad for them, like, wanting so much to be, like, a part of things, and there's a quote that
and then you're so empathetic to a fault that you're just like, man, now that I think about it, I feel bad for these people. they need attention and nurturing, even though they're 65-year-old men who probably say the N-word in private.
But imagine what it was like for them to be kids. They were still, humans are the same, even if it was like 60 years ago. They were once children too.
Yeah.
And there's an African proverb, I think it is. I was gonna say it's like a quote, I guess it's a proverb. It can be like just a couple sentences, right, or whatever, or a saying.
Of course.
Well, whatever. That's what they are. They're not like...
No, proverbs are 500 words minimum.
I was thinking of a parable. I'm like, oh, God, did I just say the wrong word? No. An African proverb that's like, a child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth or whatever. And it makes me feel like these poor little losers are...
And then they do that and they're like, I'm the Joker, baby.
Check out this society.
Nice society I got here, fellas.
Yeah, it just really is making me feel bad for these... Like, so many of these right-wing guys, I already feel like they're just so try-hard. Mm-hmm. They're just so try-hard about everything that it's so cringe, and I just want to, like,
TikTok right-wing guys,
people putting up don't jump me. I voted for Trump. It's like, bro, what are you like? It's so cringe. Like, you're better than this. Like, you don't have to just be cool. Like,
I don't know. The guys
be
mouthing
yourself.
along to country songs and doing their thing in the TikTok.
I'm going
like,
boom, boom, and I'll kick your ass.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, please don't. Well, on the other hand, let's circle back. And we were talking about Don't Blame Me, I Voted for Trump. And it's like, and what has changed for you in this whole time? Make sure you get my gut in that picture.
Oh, I got the gut.
Yeah, he's got the gut.
He's got the gut.
He's got the gut. We're doing different songs.
Yeah, and I don't think either of them are songs.
Yeah, I think I like big guts, and I cannot lie. But okay, so, and this person... and they feel so strongly about this that, like you said, they've got like a ladder or like a boom truck and put up this sign.
All right, lower it down.
Yeah, and measured it out, and it's like in your. And I mean, I am just projecting a lot of things. I could know who this person is too. This is a small town, but I don't know. But you can tell just by number one, the type of sign they put up, the effort that would go into it, and then you look at the home, and it's like, what, don't blame you. You're not in a shack. Biden didn't kill your dog, whatever. And at the same time, it's like, so what has changed for you, man, like in this house, in your probably pretty comfortable lifestyle from Trump to Biden, and then even going back to Trump next year, it's just kind of funny in my head, thinking about him having that sign up and then thinking about the local man who often walks down there. He's the local drunk. He's the town drunk. His name's Kyle or something. He walks around so much. He has a reflective vest on that he wears because he's walking around at night, and he'll walk all the way out there. And it's just this juxtaposition where it's like, don't blame you. Like, what did Biden do to you? You're in this house. There's a homeless man walking by this sign. Like, you voted for Trump because it would have helped him because he was still walking around picking up cigarette butts when Trump was president.
Yeah.
And he was doing that before Trump was president, and he's doing it now when Biden is president. Here's someone who can be affected by governmental intervention. But no, he's, quote unquote, the town drunk. He's a nice guy. Yeah, every once in a while, like my good friends are like, yeah, we picked him up, give him a ride. It's too bad. Like, you just try to get it done quick because he smells really bad, and he smells like cigarettes and BO and all this. And I forget where he goes at night, but, he'll scrounge together enough stuff and he'll go into the local bar, sit at the end. No one really talks to him, gets a beer, then he'll be on his way out, pick through the butts out in the can out front to have some cigarettes, and then shuffle along his way. I've had him cross in front of me many a time. I see him all the time, and I know that he walks out there on that road underneath that sign wherever he's going. And it's like,
that's on that non-shouldered road. Woof.
Yeah. No, yikes. I've almost run over him when I lived out there.
Yikes.
But yeah, it's like, I forget where I'm going with it, but it's like, this is what you should be. That's who you should be talking to. If you want to be all snarky about it, you should pull Kyle aside and he'd be like, hey man, sorry, don't blame me. I voted for Trump. Mm-hmm. Oh, you think that would be stupid to do? Exactly. You're stupid.
And it just is so incredibly snarky. That's the thing that gets me, is like that's what you're wanting to put out there, is like, so if there are problems, you're just like, well, that's what you get. That's your attitude towards people that disagree with you. It's just like,
yeah, I share that attitude.
You know what? I'm going to put up a big sign that says Nazis deserve healthcare too, and that will never get taken out of context.
Oh, another thing. Yeah, it's funny how yeah, that's the thing. I mean, everyone's a liberal at the end of the day here when it's conservatives, and and GOP and Democrats, like Hassan always says, because like that whole seeking like retributive like politics, where it's like, don't blame me, you get what you deserve, that sort of thing is what you're seeing liberals saying about. I mean, I brought that up on the show already, I think, where it's like, talking when they're speaking to anti-Biden because they're pro-Palestinian voters and stuff, are like, well, you're just going to, good luck getting deported when Trump's president. Whatever, you're not going to vote for Biden? Have fun getting deported. Or I hope they send you back home. Yeah, you don't deserve to be here disgusting. If you're not going to vote for Biden. But anyway, what's funny is thinking about here in our small town, you were saying like that, you're putting in the effort, you're putting up this sign, you're going out of your way to yell your politics or like, and try to trigger people about it. And then you're feeling like this is normal. Like you're feeling like because the cult of Trump, the cult of MAGA is normalized. And it's like, take a step back and tell me.
And step out onto the road.
Yeah, there's no shoulder and just wait. But it's like, take a step back and really genuinely explain to me how different that is than the other guy who's been here in town for a long time, who puts his sign in the truck on the main street. You know what I'm talking about.
He's got a YouTube.
Yes. Mm-hmm. There's a guy, we probably brought it up 60 episodes ago or something. But yeah, like repent, God hates Mormons, Islam,
Jehovah's Witness or whatever.
And just he has like 3 rotating signs that are just insane Christian stuff, and he makes sure to put it on his sign. They have a Bible study every week
on Thursdays,
and I just think about all the things I want to do to his stupid signs every time I drive by him.
Yeah.
Or it'd be like, Jesus loves you and Jesus hates Islam. And like just random stuff, crazy stuff. And it's like they're putting it out there as a symbol of what they are and to kind of like to trigger people, to get people to look at it and be like, this is what we are. We're Christian fundamentalists kind of thing. It's like, how different are you than that psycho? Like, because I know you'd think that that's different. No, that's totally different. How? How are you different than that? Like, even if like loving Bernie Sanders or something in 2020, but like, I don't know if I want to get a bumper sticker. It's just weird. I don't need some guy's name on the ass of my car. I mean, I don't mind. I think it's cool and people put the stuff up, but it's just not like this burning desire for me to display my consumption so outwardly and make sure everyone knows. It's like instead of Gucci, you have Trump. Like that's what you want to show, and it's fucking weird, and that's all it is. It's this shallow, surface level, it's like the reason that we don't like Biden very much is because he hasn't done much different than Trump in these certain areas. And so why don't you guys like Biden? Have you seen this fucking border bill, this deal that they're doing?
What I feel like about Biden, it's like, he's either he just like doesn't get anything done or he just half-asses it. So you guys should just...
Or he just literally does Trump stuff.
Yeah, or does what you want or more, yes. Like even more conservative policies or more spending for Israel or whatever, it just feels like...
Yeah, Israel. Oh, my God.
And also, it's like, I don't like Joe as the president because nothing really gets done. Because because their policies, like, we're really talking like policy.
They're kind of toothless.
I'm not talking...
you don't have that congressional support. It's like other presidents.
Trump seemed to get a lot of stuff done. He sure was like out here getting tax cuts passed. He had stuff going on at the border.
And what has Joe Biden done about the Trump tax cuts? Nothing.
That's what it's dislike Joe for like actual
kept the government open for another 2 months.
Legislative reasons, and they like Trump because he's this kind of guy. It's not about his policy. I mean, I guess they would say it is, that it's like borders or immigration or whatever. But obviously...
No, but they talk themselves into somehow because they blindly jump in and say, I'm part of this group now, so this is what I believe. It's that cult-like thing, not even in a derogatory way, but like that's what it is.
Like, that is
so they convince themselves that Trump is like real American, like whatever, real American registered trademark, even though it's idiotic.
I'm just imagining him in the semi, like pretending to like honk the horn or the fire truck or whatever it is, like a little kid.
When he's and even him just talking to these people when he's out there, like, I mean, come on, Trump, he's so outside of normal polite society that he's like he was telling that 7-year-old kid, remember like 3 Christmases ago, and he's like, you still believe in Santa? Oh, you do? I mean, you're what, 7? At 7 it's kind of marginal. Like, you're the president, you're telling a kid that Santa doesn't exist? What the fuck is wrong with you?
He's telling Boy Scouts about like orgy yachts and stuff.
Like it's just all of those things add up. So it's like, yeah, he's a magnificently strange figure.
Magnificent.
And yes, where it's like this, like literally
a character.
Awesome. Yeah. Like, but president, horrible. But it's like,
public
by
servant,
being
not so much.
wildly like out of
bombastic
line in so many ways, then they can just keep like grinding that into their fucking numbskull minds. Like, nope, this is what he is. He did that because he's a real American. He did that because he cares about us. He did that because he's a real Christian. Stuff like that.
It just makes me feel so sad for all these people that just really got all these boomers with daddy issues or some shit like that. Like,
they
legitimately
got beat by their fathers.
Legitimately, they're like, finally someone, like, because he loves me or whatever, like he's looking out for me. And oh man,
yeah,
just
that's
really,
true. There is
really,
a thing in their mind. They're like, if I met him, we'd be friends.
Or, yeah, he'd really, like respect me or something. He really respects what I do. Yeah, right. If you're a contractor, he would never
be like
pay
Obama saying, "No, I won't play it."
Hey, Obama said it.
Well, and then darn, we're gonna be done here. And I had written, "Listen up, liberals." But seriously, we've got 2 problems with the Joe Biden vote, and they both need to be tackled.
Both.
There's like 2 different perspectives here. It's like on what he's doing and also how their campaigning and marketing works. That's what I've been going on with liberals. But it's like, for one thing, Biden is doing okay domestically, but he doesn't market any of that well. Like the fact that so many people still think it's like, yeah, well, he broke the railroad strike and stuff. No, he actually helped them. They stand by it, the railroad workers union, but he did such a bad job in showing what he did that everyone thinks like, yeah, he's anti-union. Sure, he could have done better, but it's
he
like,
could have done a lot worse.
He's not a fucking leftist community organizer, okay? Like,
he's 81.
Either way, he did better than what many on the left think, and that's a big accomplishment. No one talks about it, and when they do, they usually have it wrong. But it's like, so he's doing okay domestically. I mean, the Inflation Reduction Act, all this stuff, like, things could be so much worse. Things are bad, but that's just bad because it's America, and there's been no systemic changes. But either way, he doesn't market any of these accomplishments well. But on top of that, we just want him to do better because he can do better and show it off. Domestic is serviceable for a liberal electorate. Foreign is god-awful. He's seriously doing so badly that it's almost incomprehensible. Israel, Ukraine, Yemen, and now what? Iran?
Yeah.
Just look at LBJ, you absolute goddamn tools. It's like this, I mean, they just don't understand how, they still don't understand that, like, the American people, we're not wartime strategists. We really don't know these geopolitical things, but we know that we're sending money and people and weapons and stuff. People are dying. Like wars just happening that we're involved in is just bad. It's never good for you. Like, it's idiotic.
What is it good for?
It's
absolutely nothing.
The only time that it gets so, like, it actually gets the people on your side, you have to, like, kill 3,000 American civilians on U.S. soil. That's what'll get people behind you and wanting to go to war.
Yeah.
Like, now we're striking Syria and Yemen and all of this stuff. It's like, what are you doing? Like, LBJ just kept standing by this Vietnam policy and thinking that what they were doing was right, and the American people would see that and that they would get through it and they're going to figure out a peace plan. It's like, no. At the end of the day, even these war hawks that want you to just raise all of Vietnam, or right now they want you to just nuke Gaza or something. At the end of the day, if you were just out of it and it wasn't a thing, they wouldn't be saying, man, I wish that he'd be having a war, though. You know what I mean? Like, everything is better for you if you aren't engaging in military action in places. That's what I was just thinking, like, no matter what.
Why would you ever want anyone, like, in charge that's known as a war hawk?
Yeah, really.
It's like, why would that ever be a good thing to be?
I don't know. I've been watching Vice, and
mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Don't tell me how it ends. Yeah. Darn. Well, we already went over it. I thought it was funny. I started reading this little, because it was in the New York Post, why our politicians can't stop passing absurd laws. And I thought it was kind of funny how immediately, I didn't even make it all the way through, but I'll just show you, it's illegal for donkeys to sleep in bathtubs in Arizona. Sound familiar? It should. This choice nugget is just one of many absurd laws that politicians have been able to dream up. There are so many of them, and so many of them are so absurd that a book about these laws made the rounds back in the 90s. Like, those
sure.
Where it's like, you can't walk an elephant down Main Street on Sundays in this town, or some weird stuff. It's on The Simpsons. You can't put squirrels in your pants for the express purpose of gambling. And they're like, wow, there's some weird laws. And they look in the back and all the cops are doing it. He's got like squirrels in his pants and they're throwing money on the floor. He's like, hey, knock it off. But in Utah, you can't fish from horseback. Mobile, Alabama bans the sale of silly string, blah, blah, blah. Alas, these aren't just historical oddities, nor has the well of ill-advised ideas run dry. For a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. And so, it comes with some current ones where I'm like, okay, California lawmakers, they don't want to call it nut milk. You can't say almond milk because it's not really milk. And for one thing, it's like, that's not some liberal thing. That's big dairy. Like, that's... the big dairy associations, but that's beside the point. The one that got me was, take New York. To kick off the new year, state lawmakers, in their wisdom, are contemplating compelling some Chick-fil-A restaurant locations to be open on Sundays. Never mind that the First Amendment prohibits the government from forcing businesses to open in violation of their religious convictions. Or that other restaurants exist in the Empire State happily serving chicken sandwiches on Sunday. You're not supposed to start a sentence with or. Chick-fil-A makes for a tasty culture war issue, so lawmakers are drawn to it. Apparently, like Arizona donkeys to bathtubs. And I was like, that is kind of, like, I think it's dumb, but whatever. You don't have to be open 7 days a week. That's totally fine with me.
How could you be compelled to be open?
Exactly. I was like, that's kind of crazy,
that
too.
Seems crazy.
And how is that, like... I mean, it's New York. It's not California. It's like it's not with that atheistic liberal hellhole. And so they linked to this story from CNN right here in the headline. Mm-hmm. A bill could require future rest stop Chick-fil-A's to stay open on Sundays. The GOP calls that insanity. Several New York state lawmakers want to require restaurants at rest stops along the state's 500-mile thruway to stay open 7 days a week, to serve drivers, including Chick-fil-A, which famously closes on Sundays. Quote, the traveling public and commercial trucking industry rely on these services areas to rest, refuel, and to purchase food and beverages, the bill says. The bill mentions Chick-fil-A's policy and says, while there is nothing objectionable about a fast food restaurant closing on a particular day of the week, service areas dedicated to travelers is an inappropriate location for such a restaurant. Boom.
So don't have your restaurant there.
Totally makes sense. It's like they're not forcing Chick-fil-A. It's like if you're going to be here in this state-run place, you have to be open on Sundays. Sorry.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that because of your religious convictions?
That's
okay,
fine.
we'll put a fucking Popeye's chicken there.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's like
we would never.
immediately.
It's like we're not forcing you. We would never want to force you to be open on a Sunday. So we'll just, someone else will fill this spot, and that's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's just, I just thought it was funny.
It's
where
so
it's
incredibly misleading.
Yes, and it's like that's the New York Post. They're trying to make sure it's like like this funky stories about, you can't walk your chicken on a leash in St. Louis, and it's like these liberals are still doing crazy stuff like this. And it's like no one's going to click the link about the Chick-fil-A thing, and it's like it's all so obvious and it's right there. I fucking hate
and
you,
like
New
the
York
nut
Post.
milk thing, not only like the dairy industry or whatever, but also for like clarity's sake. Like for people when you're out there, you're like, well, obviously it's like almond milk, but it's not milk, or like making
it's
it
not
clear.
milk, right? There's no lactose in here.
Yeah, very clear for people, and just like making it. It's like, yeah, maybe that sounds stupid or whatever, but maybe it's just for like clarity's sake, to make people's lives easier, not because we're like triggered by the word milk.
Yeah, out of all, yes, exactly. And out of all the things to be in favor of the big nanny state government, food and things that you
Food
put in your body,
regulations is kinda
food,
nice, yeah.
medicine, drugs, get as many regulations as you want. And sorry if you're like, well, there's stuff that's make me raise my price, or it's just a bunch of red tape. Fuck off. Get out of here.
That's the problem with capitalism, am I right?
Yeah. America's pretty strong. We can get it done. Next.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's wrap it up.
I know, I want to eat this last. This is maybe my 5th lemon head.
Okay, I didn't even know I had lemon heads.
They're really chewy because they're old.
Yes, they must be. They were in that jar up in the kitchen.
Yeah, I ate a Starburst, almost broke my tooth.
Yeah, I say let's go get some candy and play some Mario Kart. That's what I want to do.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's go. And we just walk away without shutting it off.
Not even taking your headphones off.
Okay, shout out R.M. Brown.
Our Lord and Savior. R.M. Brown, he's a wee bairn.
He's a wee bairn Brown.
The Brown Bairn.
This episode brought to you by...
Drugs are fun.
I'll just say at the very end here...
That was a really nice one. Thanks, Inane Blather.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I know
Shout out to
R.M.
Zach and everybody and Kelsey and
Everybody.
And shout out to the people that actually, since we have more views on YouTube than we usually do, for all the people that listen more than 18 seconds, which is our average view duration.
Not me.
Then shout out to you. We love you. And if you're a Trump supporter, we'll have a civil conversation. We'll hold him down before we kill him.
We could have a conversation.
We're going to put out these threats online.
We agree on more than you think.
Yeah. And that just, it's a display of how much I know about theory. It's how much theory I read. Mm-hmm. Okay. Support your local library. Bye.
Eat a lemon head. Bye.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.